I have concluded that the only problem with my Ironman tattoo is nobody can see it when I've got my jeans on. Problem solved. Hello again YouTube, and welcome from my morning walk with Rosie. So the new plan is in place, and I'm glad to report that yeah, pretty good progress so far. Well, it's only been a week, isn't it? But still feeling very positive about all that, so that's good. Yeah, so I'm looking to hit the goals in the order I stated them: swim, bike, then run. And the reason for that is that, well, there's a time limit to the swim season, the open water swim season. So I want to get in before the lakes close, because I don't know, I just don't fancy a sea swim in winter or autumn. The bike, yeah, the bike, I'm not too concerned about the bike. I'll just get it, you know. In fact, what I might do is I've got a birthday coming up in September, and we're taking a few days off around then, so I might just coincide the bike with that. And obviously the run goal can't move, because that's the solstice run, so you do it on the solstice. So yeah, but still feeling very positive about it all. But when I was, sorry, I keep looking down at Rosie, seeing what she's doing. When I was putting the plan together, I kind of revisited some of the things that I did when I was planning for Ironman and training for Ironman. So what I thought I'd do this week is just share my thoughts on planning for and doing your first Ironman. So this is coming from somebody who was an unlikely Ironman, but is nonetheless an Ironman. Yeah, and just kind of what I found to be beneficial from a planning, training, and kind of getting your head into the game point of view. So here, for what it is worth, are my thoughts on the things that got me through Ironman. Let's start with the basics. The Don Fink books, to me, they should be your Bible. There is a ton of good advice in here. They even share stories of how people fit training in around busy lives, etc., etc. There's advice on training techniques, but for me, the real benefit from this book is that they come with pre-made training plans, and there's a plan for everybody. So if, like me, you just want to finish, there is a just finish plan. If you want to finish strongly, there is an intermediate plan. And if you want to really go for it, there's a competitive plan. And they are planned out day by day, week by week, swim, bike, run, even your rest sessions in there. So you have, as soon as you bought this book, you've really got a plan for training. Now, even though I did just want to finish, I trained against the intermediate plan, because I am a great believer in the old saying, train hard, race easy. And even though this plan is in the book, for me, I kind of needed it in sight day by day. So I just went out and bought a cheap wall planner and wrote all my sessions on it. And there's something quite motivating about seeing that block of training that you've got to do to get to Ironman. And you know, I made sure to put my B races on there, and as you can see from this picture, if I got sick or anything like that, I noted it against the plan. But you know, just having that 1,000-foot view of what's going on is fantastic. And especially as you get towards the latter part of your training plan and you see getting week by week closer to your A race, that's both scary and motivating, but more motivating than scary for me. So yes, by the book. If you're not already a member, join a tri club. Join your local tri club. They're fantastic, seriously. Even if you're just planning, like, you know, it doesn't have to be an Ironman, your first triathlon, or you know what, even if you were just planning, say, a long swim, run or bike event, you will get a lot out of your tri club membership. There, in the club that I belong to, East Essex Tri, there is a fantastic club spirit. They host a couple of races during the year, or get involved in a couple of races during the year. You know, they've got their own triathlon, the Grays Triathlon, which, if you wanted a first triathlon and you're in the Essex area, give that one a look. You will get instant access to a group of people who are usually pretty grounded and have been there and done it. And that advice, the advice that you'll get from those people, will be priceless. It will be, in my opinion, better than any advice you'll get from the likes of a Facebook group, etc., etc. So join a tri club, support your local tri club. Some sage advice I got from a club member is that this race, Ironman, will take you to some pretty dark places. And I'm not talking about places you'll need a head torch. I'm talking places where you just genuinely want out of this. And I think I saw that at Vichy. There were, I'd say it was probably, there was probably just a couple of moments in the run where I did honestly think to myself, oh man, I just want to sit down on that park bench and watch everyone else go by for a while. So it will take you to some dark places. And what I did to prepare for that was I tried to take myself to dark places in my training that I could easily get out of a training session but didn't. So how that worked in practice was, let's say I'd got a 180k bike planned, and what I'd do is I'd plan it so that I was coming past the end of my road at about, I don't know, 160-ish k. So at that point you're really fatigued. If it's a hot day, you know, all you really want to do is just go stand in the garden and hose yourself down. But you're coming right past the end of your road and you just make yourself keep going. And I think it helps you build a certain kind of mental toughness you'll need if you get to that point in a race where you say to yourself, is this really a good idea? I do it with a run as well. So if I had a 2-hour run planned, I'd either do like a 1-hour loop from home and do it twice, so that at the midpoint of the run session I'm coming right past my front door and could just get out of this if I wanted to, and I'd just keep running. And it's kind of an odd feeling when you do that, especially if you've done all your training sort of running from home and you're used to just running up to your door and going in. That moment where you go, nope, you know, I've got another hour, is really quite challenging. But that's what you want. Train hard, race easy. Just believe you can do this. If that fat triathlete bloke from YouTube can do an Ironman, you can do an Ironman. And even though I'm not in Ironman shape at the moment, I do honestly intend, before I shuffle off this mortal coil, to toe the Ironman start line once more. I think I'll plan that so that I'm in an age group where there's only 2 or 3 other contenders, and get myself a podium. But you can do this. It's going to be tough. The training's going to be horrible at times. There's going to be times in the race where you question yourself. But if you believe and stick with it, trust me, you will cross that finish line. Now, let me give you an example from my own experience. The swim. I was petrified of the swim. The swim has been my nemesis all throughout my time as a triathlete because I'm such a bad swimmer. And in the days leading up to the race, all I could hear was a little voice in the back of my head saying 2 out of 20 cut off. But you know what? I made it. And I made it in a non-wetsuit race. And just for sake of reference, here's my GPS track from the day. So as you can see, my atrocious sighting skills added a good distance to my race. So you just tell yourself, if like me, you're worried about that swim. That bloke from YouTube did it. He did it without a wetsuit, and he still had 9 minutes left at the end before cut-off. So you can make that swim. And I think the run was another area where I was concerned. But this is where your race plan comes into play. So, you know, having identified what sort of finish you want, just finish, strong finish, competitive finish, you really know then what splits you're looking at. And for me, I was looking at just finishing. Excuse me again. Bird! Wait, come on. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, so for me, I was just looking at finishing. That was a goal. So, in my head, you know, it was do the race, cross the line, Ian Tavel, you are an Ironman, woohoo! Medal, t-shirt, tattoo. So that was my finish. And what I said to myself was, swim's going to be bad, I know that, but I need to be out of the swim in 2 hours-ish. I knew the bike was always going to be my strongest segment. So I'd planned for roughly 6 hours on the bike, which I thought was doable. And on the day, I went under 6 hours by a full 15 seconds. But nonetheless, under 6. So the whole point of this is that in those 2 splits with transitions, you're 8 hours-ish in. I knew the cut-off for Vichy was 16 hours. So that gave me another 8 hours to complete the marathon. And the plan was, you know, if you bought yourself that much time, you could walk a marathon in 8 hours and still get your finish. So that was my race plan. On the day, I went worse in the swim, slightly better in the bike, just by seconds, and I'll be honest with you, kind of about where I'd hoped to be on the marathon, resulting in a 14-hour-ish finish time. So, you know, that race plan worked really well for me because I still had a 2-hour buffer at the end of the race, had anything gone wrong. So there you go. Just my thoughts on the things that I did that worked for me in getting through my first Ironman. So I think, you know, to summarise, it's all about a bit of hard work, a bit of planning and a bit of belief. And if you get those things in the right measure, have no problem. Anyway, I did rattle on there a little bit longer than I imagined that I would. And believe it or not, I had to leave some film in the can because I'd rattled on even more, which I'm doing now. Oh, the irony. I'll shut up now. Anyway, thank you for watching this one. If you've made it this far, you have my admiration, and you possibly need to get out more. But thanks for watching this one, YouTube, and I will see you in the next.